Have you ever stopped to think about the power a woman can have over a man? Imagine sparking a healthy obsession in him, the kind that makes his heart race and his thoughts constantly revolve around you. Now, what if I told you there are simple tricks that can turn that connection into something even more intense? But, pay attention. We're not talking about playing games or manipulation. It's all about authenticity and knowing how to use your essence to your advantage. Did you know that small gestures can make a man completely fascinated? And what if you could create a sense of mystery that leaves him always wanting more? You just need to know how. Have you ever thought about how small changes in your attitude can make a huge difference? What if the key to this obsession lies in how you communicate and present yourself? Every detail matters, and that's what will captivate him. So, stay tuned, because now you're going to discover 6 powerful ways to make him think about you all the time. But before we get started, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, leave your like, and turn on the notification bell. Without further delay, let's begin. Step number 1. Emotional manipulation, the roller coaster technique. One of the most effective ways to make a man obsessed with you is by using the emotional roller coaster technique. This strategy, within the realm of dark psychology, involves manipulating emotions in a calculated way, creating a mix of highs and lows that will keep him emotionally hooked on you. But how does this technique work? The idea is simple. You create peaks of emotional excitement followed by sudden drops. This leaves him confused and increasingly anxious to get back to those moments of emotional high. Imagine he has just come from an incredible date with you. He's at the peak of happiness, feeling special and important. But suddenly you change how you treat him. You become a bit more distant, don't immediately respond to his messages, or give signs that you're less invested. This triggers a feeling of loss in him, as if he's about to lose you. Why does this work? The secret of the emotional roller coaster lies in the fact that humans are attracted to intensity. When you mix positive and negative emotions in this way, he becomes stuck in the cycle of trying to recapture that intense emotional connection he felt before. He never knows what to expect, and this uncertainty creates an obsession as he tries to figure out what's happening and how he can keep you close. How to apply the technique in practice. Create moments of deep emotional connection. Make him feel special and unique by complimenting him, offering affection, and creating memorable experiences together. Alternate with moments of distance. After these moments of connection, pull back your attention, be a little colder or more distant. This creates an emotional void that he'll want to fill at any cost. Keep the cycle going. Repeat the process of alternating between closeness and distance. This keeps the relationship in a state of uncertainty, where he never knows exactly how you feel. He'll become obsessed with trying to reach those deep moments of connection again. The psychological impact of this technique. This emotional fluctuation generates emotional dependence. He'll constantly think about you, wondering what he can do to keep your attention. The emotional roller coaster technique creates a deep attachment, as he associates the intensity of this emotional experience with you. Step number 2. Create an emotional connection. If you want to make a man obsessed with you, creating an emotional connection is absolutely essential. In fact, without this bond, any attraction or seduction technique loses its strength. The key here is to make him feel like you understand and care about him on a deep level. Something that goes beyond the surface. How does this work? Humans, especially men, tend to fall in love not just because of looks, but because someone understands them, validates their emotions, and shares their dreams and fears. This is where the power of creating a deep emotional connection comes in. When he feels that you understand him, he becomes more emotionally vulnerable, and over time, that vulnerability can turn into an obsession. Here are some practical ways to create that emotional connection. Listen actively. Instead of just talking about yourself, show genuine interest in what he has to say. Ask questions about his life, his dreams, and his insecurities. When he realizes that you're truly listening, he will start to open up more. And that's when the magic happens. He will associate you with a feeling of being understood and appreciated, something rare and valuable. Reveal vulnerabilities. To create a real emotional connection, it's not enough just to listen. You also need to share something about yourself. Talking about your own vulnerabilities, fears, or even your most intimate experiences will make him feel a stronger bond. The more real you are, the more he will feel like you share something unique and special. Show emotional support. Be the person he can rely on, especially during tough times. When you're there for him during moments of difficulty or confusion, he'll begin to see you as an indispensable figure in his life. By offering comfort and support, You strengthen that emotional connection. He will start to think of you as someone who truly understands what he's going through. Why is this technique so powerful? When you create an emotional connection, you tap into a part of his mind that no one else does. This makes him feel a need to be close to you because that connection feeds him emotionally. The obsession comes when he realizes he can no longer imagine his life without that connection. He'll start seeking you out not just for the physical, but for the emotional feeling he gets when he's with you. Bonus tip asterisk. To further strengthen this emotional connection, you can use the principle of reciprocity. If he shares something deep with you, reward it with emotional validation, showing that you understand him and value what he's trusting you with. This creates a cycle of openness and trust that will keep him emotionally attached to you. Step number 3. Spark curiosity and mystery. One of the most powerful ways to make a man obsessed with you is to spark his curiosity and create an air of mystery. The secret is to never reveal everything at once. By maintaining an aura of mystery, you keep him constantly thinking about you, eager for the next interaction, and wanting to know more. Why is leaving a man curious so effective? The human mind is naturally curious. When you leave something open-ended, it creates a psychological tension that makes him seek answers. The desire to fill the gaps you intentionally leave keeps him fixated on you. Uncertainty keeps him hooked, creating a cycle where he's always wanting to discover more about you. How to apply mystery and curiosity in practice. To spark his curiosity and keep the mystery alive, you can, for example, share an intriguing story about something that happened during your day, but leave the ending open. Imagine you're talking to him and say something like, "Something so unexpected happened to me today. You won't believe it. But I'll save the story for later. Maybe the next time we meet." Use phrases that keep him thinking. In conversations, leave some things up in the air. For instance, instead of telling all the details of something interesting that happened to you, mention just the beginning of the story and say something like, "I'll tell you the rest later." Or, "It's a long story, but you'll have to wait to hear more." This makes him eager for the next meeting or conversation, always wanting more. With this, you plant the seed of curiosity, keeping him interested and wanting to know more about what happened. This feeling of incompleteness makes him think about you until the next time, increasing his desire to learn more about your life. Step number 4. Using the mirroring technique. The mirroring technique is one of the most effective ways to create a deep emotional connection and make him feel attracted and obsessed with you without even realizing it. This technique is based on a simple psychological principle. People tend to like others who are similar to them, whether in attitudes, behaviors, or ways of thinking. By mirroring a man's behavior, you create a sense of familiarity and comfort that sparks a feeling of affinity and attraction. How does the mirroring technique work? The technique involves subtly reflecting the other person's gestures, tone of voice, facial expressions, and even speech rhythm. When you do this, he unconsciously starts to feel there's a sync between you, as if you speak the same language. This evokes a sense of comfort, making him feel more connected to you. Here are some ways to apply the mirroring technique. Mirror body language. During a conversation or date, observe his gestures and posture. If he crosses his arms, do the same a few minutes later. If he leans forward or rests back in his chair, follow his movements subtly. The goal is to mimic his gestures without him consciously noticing, which creates a natural harmony. Match his tone of voice and speech rhythm. If he speaks calmly and slowly, adjust your speaking pace to match his. If he speaks more quickly or energetically, you can also shift your tone accordingly. This alignment in tone and speech rhythm enhances the emotional connection because he will feel like you're on the same wavelength. Reflect his emotions. One of the most powerful ways to use the mirroring technique is to reflect his emotions. If he's excited while telling a story, show enthusiasm. If he's talking about something that worries him, adopt a more serious and empathetic tone. When you mirror someone's emotions, they feel understood and validated, which strengthens the connection between you. Use similar expressions. Another way to apply the technique is by mirroring some words or phrases he frequently uses. This creates a sense of familiarity and alignment, as if you both share the same way of seeing and talking about the world. But be careful not to sound like you're just repeating what he says. The key is to be subtle and natural. Why is the mirroring technique so powerful? The human mind is naturally drawn to familiarity. When you mirror someone, you create an environment where he feels comfortable and safe, which leads to a deeper emotional connection. He starts seeing you as someone who understands him, someone who's like him. This identification sparks intense interest, which can lead to obsession. After all, he begins to associate your presence and interactions with a sense of well-being. Extra tip asterisk. Use this technique especially at key moments, like during deeper conversations or encounters where emotional connection is important. By consistently and subtly mirroring him, he'll feel increasingly attracted and intrigued by you without fully understanding why. Now that you know the 4 powerful ways to make him obsessed with you, how about reflecting on how to put all this into practice? Remember, every interaction is an opportunity. Have you thought about how you can be authentic while still leaving an air of mystery? That's essential. I encourage you to use these tips in your daily life and start noticing his reaction when you apply these strategies. Oh, and don't forget, being a woman of value isn't just about winning someone over, but about valuing yourself. Have you stopped to think about how you feel when you put yourself first? That's irresistible. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Sending you a kiss, and see you in the next video.